AFL guru, Brad Hardie.
Good morning to you, Bradley.
Morning, Diggers. Good morning, TC. Plethora of sport to get through. You sure you didn't do it in Bunnings on the weekend, on Friday, did you, TC? Running over the nail?
No.
Bunnings at all?
No, I haven't been to Bunnings for, I don't know.
Oh, 59?
Yeah. No, that's not my sort of store, Brad. Bunnings, funnily enough.
No, me either.
Try and find someone to do it for me.
Do it yourself, stick it up, whatever.
Yep.
That's for sure. Plenty to get through. What a weekend it was, Diggers. Cricket, racing was magnificent. Ange Postecoglou got the lemon. It just goes on, and the footy continues to roll on, boys. So wherever you want to go, I'm happy to go with you.
Well, let's get the footy out of the way before we look at some racing and other summer sports, Brad. Archie, what's the latest?
Well, look, I know there's been a little bit of chatter about him. They've got Starcevich, and West Coast have been a little proactive, Diggers, and they're going to go into the draft as they needed to with a good hand. But here's a chance. There's a chance here. Now, I did speak with my Brisbane spy and my South Fremantle spies across the weekend, TC. The lad wants to come home. Now, I know he wanted to go to Fremantle initially. They didn't have the capital to put up, and they didn't have the cap space. Fair enough. He wasn't really keen on going to West Coast. Some people were suggesting something to do with his brother from a few years ago. That's fine. Okay, so it didn't come together. Then it didn't come together, so he chose Adelaide. I'm not sure about his manager, to be brutally honest, but they've chosen Adelaide, and Adelaide and Brisbane couldn't come to an agreement to get him there. But it's closer in Adelaide, apparently, than it is in Brisbane to Perth, so be it geographically. But he does want to come home. So West Coast, go and have another lick. Don't let him put a price on his head and expect him to walk through to selection 14. He's a two-time premiership player, TC, just turned 28, Diggers, got a good 3 or 4 years. Yes, you have to stump up the money in the front end of the contract to match it, to see off, Adelaide, but that's fine. They should have the room. I mean, who else are they paying? I'd be absolutely, if St Kilda can do it, surely West Coast can find. The upside is unbelievable. If you're Arnie Ed Whiskers, she'd be your uncle, Diggers, but he should have won the 2024 Norm Smith medal, I think it's fair to say. He was right in the frame. He's got that 2 premiership experience. He's 28. He's only played 170 games. It's not as if he's worn out. He can play many roles. He can bring, again, he's a great little character, and he brings in a little bit more experience and something to pass on to the young boys. So I think it's a no-brainer. West Coast, get creative, get going, and see if you can get him to Western Australia. That's where he wants to be.
What if he says, I'll play devil's here, and I get where you're coming from, Brad. What if he says, I don't want to play for you?
Well, my understanding, the scuttlebutt will tell you he's already said that because he had his heart on Fremantle. But it's changed. If he wants to come home, Diggers, he's got no choice.
What if he says, Brad? What if he says, I don't want to play for you. I want to play for Adelaide, so do not pick me. What do you do then if you're West Coast?
Well, like I say, ask the question, and if you get that answer, well, at least you know. But I think it's worth investigation because if he wants to come home, Adelaide's not Western Australia. I mean, and he's got to go there. He might re-sign with Brisbane. I don't know. But let's see what happens. He's still got a bit of time to do that. But I would think West Coast should stump up again, go again, put it to him, try and mend the bridges if there's some sort of, of course. But, gee, I tell you what, the way they're going, at least they're looking a little bit positive about what they're doing, TC, at the moment. Add him there. And I think, in 2 years' time, and he's still only going to be, just turned 29, 30, West Coast hopefully are back as a competitive outfit, and he's going to be a large part of it. It's a no-brainer and a free hit.
Yep. We didn't talk too much about them last week, Brad. They were sort of down the pecking order a little bit West Coast, and Diggers and I have touched on it a little bit, but as you mentioned there, you have to be pretty positive about their trade season, free agent sort of season, West Coast. Yeah,
look, I think they've done reasonably well, but the big good thing is they're able to get a couple in, as Digger said, but they've also got plenty of draft choices. That's what they've got to do. They've got to go to the draft, and people keep telling you that it's a shallow draft, but we always find these gems. You know what I mean? There was about half a dozen players or more on either side running around at Geelong and also Brisbane in that grand final who come through rookie drafts. So you can't say, you just don't know where you find those diamonds in the rough. But quite clearly, they've got a handful of good good choices, and they might pick 2, who knows, and get 2 more in that first round for that. But at least they've got a little bit. As I say, Taylor Young's not David Dench, but it helps. You've got Starcevic coming in the door, and that's the other thing with Archie. He might be a little bit of insurance, because we know, unfortunately, for Starcevic, love him or love it or not, if he gets one more bang in the head, who knows what's going to happen with it.
Now, a little bit of racing news, if we can. Sir Delius is going to be nominated for the Craven Plate in the wake of what we learnt last week, Racing Victoria and the stewards. And Mark Zara has been booked to ride Al Riffa, chasing a third cup win in 4 years.
Mark Zara.
Yeah, El Riffa, I got all the, a mate of mine's got a share in that. Johnny Double, somehow, only got a hair on the tail, but they put together their money, they got a share in El Riffa. I think we all got that video, didn't we, Diggers, a couple of months ago, when I was trying to find a little bit of interest in that horse, TC, and the boys stumped up, and they've got, I don't know what they paid, 4 or 5 million for the horse total, but so it's a big outlay, but they could get it back. This Melbourne Cup is shaping up. I think this is one that could, be only a few live chances going into it by the look of it. But yeah, it was bad. Sir Delius was a bad one. Look, they've tried to tighten it up, boys. You boys understand racing far better than I. But with what they've been doing with the MRIs and the CAT scans and all of that sort of stuff, it just wasn't possible. But I'm surprised that Sir Delius is going to race in Sydney, where other horses in the past have been blocked around the world from racing, Digger. So I don't know what's going on there. But it's better to be err on the side of caution, I suppose. It's disappointing for Connections to Sir Delius, who would have been an absolute live chance, no doubt. But yeah, now half yours goes there as well. What a race it could become.
Yes, got a 2 kilo penalty, half yours for the Melbourne Cup, so he gets in there and the like. TC, I haven't asked you, are you comfortable with that announcement and decision by Racing Victoria stewards on the back of veterinary advice, Sir Delius?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think you have to be comfortable. Brad, we spoke to Matt Welsh, who's worked... he's not there anymore, but he worked for Racing Victoria for a couple of years there, and he said the Melbourne Cup was under some serious pressure. And if we lose Melbourne Cup, if you love or hate racing, and it's 3,200 metres, and we understand where racing's going here in Australia, but it's still the number one day for racing in Australia to showcase itself. And if you lose any sort of tradition with the Melbourne Cup, then you're in real trouble. And unfortunately, on this occasion, Sir Delius and the Connections there have taken the hit for hopefully the betterment of the race.
Oh, well, I think the good thing to come out of it, I think, was the response from Gay Waterhouse, Diggers. She didn't jump up and down. Absolutely, you're disappointed. Of course you're going to be disappointed. There's no doubt about that. But it wasn't a song and dance routine and throwing the arms up in the air and all that sort of stuff. So I think we all understand. I think we've been conditioned now that the horse's welfare is first and foremost, as it has always been, but even more so, as you say, TC, with the Melbourne Cup, because we have lost a few along the way, and, it could happen anywhere, but and that we know how well these horses are really looked after when they're in training and the like. So, but yeah, they make rules. You've got to stick to them. Otherwise, why have them?
Yeah, exactly right. Look, I know people are upset. I get that, but we just can't afford another fatality on the biggest day of racing in this country. It's as simple as that.
Is the Everest catching up to the Melbourne Cup? It's not there yet, but you've got to think. I mean, the Whirlpool, and the figures that are going to be released today will be mammoth. There's no doubt about that. And we had the Usain Bolt of the equine world in Kaying Rising come over and do what he did on the weekend, and it was nice backhand from Zach Purton after the race. I don't think you saw him at his best today, but he didn't have to be. Bang! He certainly gave it to them, and David Hayes cock a hoop, and why wouldn't he be? It's great. I mean, this horse is globally known, and he's the best sprinter in the world. Just wish Black Caviar was reincarnated. I'm sure they'll try and put a race together somehow over the next few years. But such the popularity of this particular horse, boys, they flew down a Hong Kong call. It wasn't Darren McCauley. It wasn't Darren Flindell. It wasn't Matty Hill. But let's just take in TC the last 50, 100 metres of the way the Hong Kong caller called it.
Oh, sorry, Brad, we don't have that in the system at the moment.
Seb, what have you done? I said it to Seb. I wanted him to load it up. He may not have seen the tab, but we'll try and get it up before the end of the show. But that's all right, end of the segment. But yeah, it was fantastic to hear.
Look, I think. Look, the Everest is great for what it is, but I think we just need to pump the brakes and wait until Tuesday week, and then the whole country comes to a stop with a Melbourne Cup. Like, it's our race. It is the nation's race. It is the great race. Now, It's a staying race, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea, and you will have international runners in there, and people will say, well, what's that horse? I don't know anything about it, so which way do I go? But, look, I think we just enjoy them for both what they are. The Everest is a great race. It's glitzy, glamorous, it's everything that you want. Big crowd, young crowd, it's great.
Let's get the teachers stopping school as well. Get back to that.
Yeah.
Show it in school.
No, I agree with it. I agree with it. Make it a national holiday, just not a holiday in Victoria, as we treat it. But as you say, Diggers, they're both great races. But again, it's just pushing ahead, Pete. He's doing a great job. You can't knock it. I mean, that's what we like. And horse racing is more about sprinting in Australia than staying, isn't it? Really. And we do love the Caulfield Cup. We love the Melbourne Cup, etc. But it's starting to really push the envelope now. But I'm with you, Diggers. I love them both, but it should be an absolute cracker. And hopefully between the three of us, we might be able to find the winner Tuesday week.
Gee whiz, I couldn't tell you the last time I found the winner of the Melbourne Cup. Diggers, help me.
Oh.
El Riffer's got to be hard to beat, isn't it?
Well, he was, when we talked about him after he won the Irish St. Ledger, I think he was $6, and we spoke to Jamie Lovett 2 or 3 days later. I'm not sure what price he is now, TC. He will need to undergo all those scans as well, will he not?
Would have done that before he left one scan.
You would think so, but will he have another? I'm not entirely sure. Al Riffer's still $6, half yours, who will carry 53 kilos now in the Melbourne Cup after that 2 kilo penalty. $3.50 with Tab Touch.
Well, good for the race if half yours does kick on, to be fair.
Agree.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well done to Jamie Carr-Mellon. So that was fantastic. First woman in 146 years running of the race. It was a sensational effort. It was a great ride. Presented beautifully, as you say, boys, and I'm sure she's very, very excited. And Marty and I spoke to Calvin McAvoy yesterday, and he sounded a bit dusty, boys, I can tell you that. He'd been gargling nails. Might have been that nail he found in your tyre. TC, no doubt about that. But good for her. It was terrific. Our boy, Oscar Piastri, is under the bit of under the pump now. We were so comfortable a little while ago, weren't we, Diggers? And with 5 races to go, I think at the turn of the summer, their summer, not ours, I think Verstappen was 90 points behind, or 97 points behind. He's only 40 behind. Lando Norris was 14 behind. Oh boy. There's a bit of tightening there around the freckle. That's for sure. With Oscar, he's got to find a way over the next 5 races. I'm sure he can, but I don't think McLaren are helping his cause too much. Do you?
I was going to say it's a bit hard to win it when your own team don't want you to win it. What freaking hell's going on there?
Yeah, you just take the gloves off, mate. Because if you win a drivers' championship and you ignore it. I mean, it's the weirdest team orientation I've ever seen. To be brutally honest, as you say, you pull over and let him pass and all this sort of crap. I'm sure someone pick him up, because if you can find one of the best drivers, and he is, there's no doubt about that, and put him in a good car, he's going to challenge for you, and that's what the constructors want as much as anything else.
Yep, exactly right. The cricket, Brad, we didn't learn too much yesterday. Unfortunately, they picked the one day in WA that you could have played cricket, and it was raining.
Well, I've never been able to work out the Billy Duckworth, Chris Lewis system. I don't know if you can, Diggers, but it's really strange. It was a bad toss to lose for India, and look, it stuck up on us, I reckon. I mean, I didn't even know the Indians were in town until I saw a bit of a vox pop on the news when they're getting off the bus, and that was about all they. Kohli and Sharma. I mean, they've had their day, but they're on their farewell tour, the John Farnham tour. I would have liked to have seen a bit more about them, etc. They struggled. Well done to the Bison. He's flying at the moment, which is really, really good. Michael Vaughan thrown up that he could open for Australia. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But we've still got to solve that problem, Diggers, because Marnus Labuschagne, he's done what we, and I want to talk about us three, as much as the country said, go back to Sheffield Shield and make runs. Well, he's done that. He's made 4 centuries, 3 of them in Shield. So he's done the right thing. But don't put him in as opener. Put him back at number 3, maybe drop Green down to 6. And who do you think should, boys? Could they go with Mitch Marsh, or do they go with Weatherall? Who do they go with?
Remove Mitch Marsh from the conversation, Brad. He's not playing Test cricket again in the short term, and I dare say long term. He's not. Yeah. I don't think he's hard hearts. He won't. It's like the Cam Bancroft. Just park it. We need to park it. He's not going to be there. Yeah,
well, as I say, it wouldn't be the worst thing, though. You've got to admit. He's so bravado and so courageous and so, just cavalier. I mean, because Khawaja is going to sit on his bat, you know that. He's going to sit on his bat at the other end, and they're looking for that run maker to get him off the mark, just to try and break up the bowling of the English coming across. And I know I'm with you. I hear you, and I agree with you. I think it's going to be a non-starter, but they could do a lot worse because, as I say, when you start looking for someone else to step up to the plate, it's not a Cox Plate field, that's for sure.
Okay, so if you're putting him into the top 6, what's your top 6 look like?
Well, I think obviously Khawaja, Marsh, Marnus,
in order.
Smith.
Are you want to open with
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. If he comes in, that's where I'd put him. And then you go to Marnus at 3. You don't expose him at opener. He's just got back into form, so don't fix it. So leave him there. Smith at 4, Head at 5, Green at 6, and then we work our way through the obviously Carey and the bowlers down the line if we play him in, depending on what pitch they're playing on.
Where does Green bat, Diggers? Where's he best suited? Sounds like he's probably going to have to bat 3, but is that where he's best suited?
Well, it depends what Steve Smith wants to do as captain. The captain has the final say. Steve Smith might say, I'm batting 3. I don't know. I think Green has shown enough at 3 to suggest he's worth persevering with. Like, he's your future. If you've identified him as a prodigious talent who's capable of batting in the top order, give him an opportunity at home against England, I would have thought.
Yeah.
You open with Marnus, you open with Khawaja, you get the right-left combinations, perfect. They know each other's game particularly well. Marnus has done all he can do. He's made a stack of runs. You bat Green 3, you bat Smith 4, you bat Head 5, and hopefully Webster's fit. I think Webster's a really good cricketer. He bats 6,
he is.
Carey 7, and then you go.
Well, if Marnus doesn't play, what's the point of the Sheffield Shield?
Well, exactly. And you go to Marnus, you say, hey, you need to score some runs. It is now a bat-off between you, Constas, Weatherald, and Marnus says, yep, okay, well, there's my CV. And you go, well, it's actually pretty irresistible, isn't it? So we'll play you. And you know he's good at that level. His best is really good.
How would you know what George Bailey's doing? I mean, he's the most confusing person in Australia, I reckon. He says on the weekend, the Greens, got to pull up a bit stiff from the Sheffield Shield game, so we'll rest him from the white ball game. Fair enough. No problem there. That's okay, but didn't know that Cummings had gone through his tests on Friday, and I haven't heard. I don't know what the latest is. Seriously? You're the chairman of selectors, mate. Of course you would know what's going on with Cummings, whether it just confounds me, George Bailey. I mean, he's becoming the most embarrassing person in cricket for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Cameron Green, that's obviously a side strain that...
It's not great.
No, but at this stage it sounds like Brady's going to play test 1, but after that, and whether or not he bowls too many overs whatsoever, if any, at all, that's probably the question mark. So he's going to be, at this stage, just a batsman.
Grist for Mill for us. And Ange Postecoglou obviously got the lemon and sauce on the weekend, 39 days. We know about that. Sam Allardyce did it in 30, but his contract ran out. So technically it was, unfortunately for Ange, he takes over a blotch in his escutcheon. But how can you do that in 39 days? 8 games, okay, didn't win. Trade window or, recruiting window open in 2 months. Go out and buy some players. This bloke sacks coaches for fun. I think it's 17 in the last 19 years or 19 in the last 17 years, wherever he's been. Of course, maybe go and borrow some players from somewhere else, whether it's Spurs or whatever. It's familiar because they're a very defensive unit, and now he's trying to make them attack, Diggers, and unfortunately they're coming up second best. So I don't know how you do it. But mind you, TC, I'd love to get a job where you fail and get sacked out and paid millions. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, buyer beware. And look, a lot of people were saying it wasn't the right job for Ange, but the ego said, no, I want to get back into the EPL managerial stakes. So, unfortunately, his CV's now tarnished in England, and you wonder where he... Look, I'm not saying he won't get another job, but you would think he's going to have to do some
not good,
pretty hard yards now, or might have to look abroad, I would have thought.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Diggers.
All right, we'll do it all again tomorrow, Brad.
Yeah, look forward to it, boys. For Morts, Group 1 Morts, 17 stores. Got to be one near you. Don't forget the Nude Nut, 1800 100 100. He can do things the banks can't. And don't forget Frankie Lee at Ross's Auctions, boys. He's a champion also. Have a good day.
1985 Brownlow medalist.
Brad Hardie is proudly presented by Retrovision, Loans 123, and Ross's Auctioneers and Valuers. Retrovision, lowest price guaranteed. RAC members save 5%. Loans 123 for all your loan needs.